Hey Austin, this is Dr. Scott. So I'm going to give you some feedback on your second essay through this the screencast. And what we'll do this week, instead of having special topics on Thursday, I'm going to arrange for individual meetings with everybody that's turned in their second essay. So what I want you to do between now and Thursday is to come up with some questions, some comments, or anything that I need to clarify, or if you're not sure how to go about revising some of the ideas that I'm talking about here in this screencast. I want you to come prepared to chat with me about them, kind of like we did for the first essay. So here we go. So I'll just kind of go through the essay, and then I'll explain like how you did on the rubric for this assignment, and I'll kind of begin here with the first paragraph. A thesis statement needs its reasons. Like, you have an argument, and that's that there's this thing about pride, and you think that they do an effective job of getting pride across. Maybe that needs to be a little bit clear, the argument that you're trying to convey there. But there needs to be something like this here. Pride through their use of, and then that's the big question mark for your essay at this point. Is like it's not clear how pride is kind of how it's conveyed. There's the stuff about gender that you're doing, which I always find kind of interesting, and then there's other things that you're doing there, and I'm not sure how they're kind of connected at this point. So how are they getting pride across? That needs to be much clearer, and it needs to be included in the thesis statement. So that's the first issue. Kind of going through, I think being able to use more details in your writing is only going to help, and you did a better job with that, I think, in the first essay. But here's an example. So you say, every person in this mural is standing proudly. That's a great thing to kind of follow up on. But describe that. What does standing proudly look like? And so, people that are in the same kind of uniform, they're kind of unified, they're standing at attention, and it seems kind of formal, they're not slouched over. Kind of get in there and kind of describe what it is you're seeing. How many people are we talking about here? That's something that needs to be kind of described in a bit more detail. The pride thing is something that you mentioned in the thesis statement, and it's in places you mention it, but then there's other places where you don't. Like, you don't really talk about gender, I think. Like, how is that connected to pride? I didn't kind of see that connection all coming together just yet. And you picked two kind of tough murals. Sorry, the medical mural and the motorcycle club mural. And I think pride is something that you could use to kind of connect it, but the question is how they get that pride across. And right here you're hinting at a detail, and you're not really describing it in much detail. And then the rest of the paragraph, it kind of trails off, and it kind of just says, the town there's more than meets the eye when it comes to this town, which is not necessarily on the message that it seems like you're trying to convey in the paragraph. Again, I'm interested in the gender issue. I kind of always find that stuff kind of fascinating. But how is that connected to pride? That needs to be kind of thought of and explained here. One of the bigger criteria for this assignment was organization and making sure that your paragraphs are placed purposefully in your paper, and we did an activity with that a couple weeks ago with that sample student essay. And for me, I'm not too sure why I'm moving from one paragraph to another. It seems like you're talking about the medical mural, and then we move to the motorcycle mural, and it's not clear why we're doing that. The bigger issue, I think, though, and that's something that you can fix later. The bigger issue is I do think that you need to talk about both murals in each of the individual paragraphs. So if gender equality is something that the town shows, and that's something that they think we should be proud of, then talk about both murals in the same paragraph. Like, they show this in the PMC, the Portsmouth Motorcycle Club mural. They also show gender in the medical mural, and they show improvement there, and that's something that it's a positive thing about the town, something we should be proud of. But I do think both murals need to be in the same paragraph, because kind of separating out whether this paragraph talks about this mural and this other paragraph talks about this other mural. It doesn't allow you to kind of get in there and have a more unified message. It's kind of broken up over the different murals, when you really should be coming up with a thesis statement that makes an argument about both murals. Okay. There's no images inserted into the essay just yet. That's something, it's a small issue, but something that you'll want to think about. Again, I mentioned the organization. And what you're seeing here on the screencast are just like my comments. These are just reminders for me of things I need to talk to you about. I'll send this to you as well. It may not be all that helpful without also listening to the screencast. There are a few confusing statements and stuff like that. It's something that women have held dear to them since the very moment men declared themselves as the alpha gender. We didn't really declare it, we just kind of assumed it. And so that's again a smaller issue. I think the bigger issue is kind of thinking about how can you talk about both murals in the same paragraph, and thinking about what it is you're really trying to say about pride. That they're showing pride in their town through the way that, like, one way is like how they show genders represented. You know, we're doing a better job about gender in this town, equality in this town. That might be one way. What are the other ways that they're showing equality? I think you can do the PMC mural with this. I think it's a tough sell. But something to maybe kind of think about, is this really a mural that's going to help you get where you need to go? Maybe it is, but if not, we can definitely talk about other murals that might be a better fit. So that's where you're at right now with the essay. I want to take you over here to this other screen. Boom, just like that. I kind of want to explain how you did on the assignment. So this is the way it looks like when I'm grading it. So the thing about thesis statement, it's not there just yet because it doesn't have the reasons. Like, that's a huge part of a thesis statement, and I think that can help you kind of organize your thoughts for the revision. Supporting details, you have them in some places, but you need them in quite a few others. Organization and transitions, it's not clear to me how the ideas are organized, and there's not much in the way of transitioning between ideas. I didn't see sources used just yet, and that was that was one of the major criteria for the assignment. And then MLA format, I didn't see it works cited. I also didn't see the visuals integrated, and I kind of forget where you were with the semicolons, but I don't remember seeing them. So we've got quite a bit of work to do there yet. So the essay is kind of far away from where it needs to be. I do think that you have things that you can build around. So come prepared on Thursday to ask me questions so we can make sure that this essay gets to where it needs to be. All right, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you soon, Austin.